Okay, I've already mentioned it. Let's just get right into it. Georgia visits on Wednesday. Mark, the Bulldogs are 14-2, but a lot of that's your preseason schedule, and some of these teams don't schedule anybody but the Sisters of Mercy. So Georgia 14-2 overall, 2-1 in the SEC though, with a loss to Ole Miss, and then back-to-back wins against Kentucky and Oklahoma this past week. They're coming to Food City Center, Thompson Bowling Arena, whatever you want to call it. What kind of chances that Georgia can give Tennessee a pretty good game here in Knoxville?
I think the other thing, when we're looking at those conference rankings, you got to be looking at home and away, right?
Yep.
So they did beat Oklahoma, they did beat Kentucky. Both of those games were at home. So this is a true road test for them coming to Thompson Bowling Arena. And look, they don't shoot it well either. We talked about our team struggling from the perimeter. Georgia doesn't shoot it well. And then their assist-to-turnover ratio is poor. Damari Jr. is a really good leader for them at the guard position, but they don't take care of the ball. And if you don't take care of the ball on the road against a defense like Tennessee, it could get ugly pretty quick. But the one thing that Florida did to us that Georgia could do as well is they can beat you up inside. They got two big guys, 6'10", 6'11", that can really rebound, can get the ball inside, and finish and score. So we'll have to show up down low.
It'll be interesting to see if they can do that here, though. I mean, the fact that Tennessee, I don't know that Florida's going to be able to do that here. You walked into a buzzsaw down there, and as Tyler Ivins pointed out on our show last week, that's the one place where Rick Barnes' teams have gone to die. They go to Florida and they get blown out. But that's one thing to watch. You were going to jump in?
Yeah, I mean, look, Georgia has a 6'11" freshman that can knock it down from outside. He doesn't always shoot. It's weird. One game 40% beyond the arc, the next game 0 attempts beyond the arc. They've also beaten 3 ranked teams, Georgia has. Tennessee hasn't yet on the season. So there's that, but I do wonder, that Ole Miss game, very reminiscent of Tennessee against Florida, where I think they were 2 of 18 beyond the arc, Georgia was. So I do think road games are a little tough for them, especially they don't shoot particularly well on the road.
Vanderbilt, another one. Basically, if you look at anybody at the SEC right now, they're going to have a good record. Vanderbilt, 13-3 overall, but 1-2 in the league. Losers of their last 2 games to Mississippi State and to Missouri. What's the challenge there, Mark?
They did lose at Missouri. When you look across the league and you look at the talent level, I mean, Vanderbilt is just not there compared to a lot of the SEC. So I don't think they have the inside. Now, they'll defend. They're going to get in gap and make it really difficult on Zakai to be able to penetrate and pitch. You saw that late last night. They're not helping off of Zakai's penetration. They're making him finish at the rim. Vanderbilt will absolutely do that. But this is a week that we should come away getting 2 wins.
I agree. It should be 2-0, but also I think that both of these wins actually will look pretty good for the tournament resume. Vanderbilt's beaten a lot of mid-level power conference teams in the non-conference schedule, so I think it's one that's going to kind of help Tennessee's resume, but I think they get a win.
Playing over there in that weird setup that they already had for years, it used to be more of a concern whenever Tennessee would go over there. Under Rick Barnes, it hasn't been that kind of a – and part of that is they've dropped off considerably there at the end of Kevin Stallings and after. But there was a time when going to Vanderbilt, it didn't matter how good Vanderbilt was, that was always going to be a test because of that building, because of the way they got into it. Barnes seems to have killed off a little bit of that. It's not so much, oh gosh, we're having to go over there to Memorial like that. You don't have that fear. I'm not saying you're not going to go over there and choke on Saturday, but that hasn't been as big of a storyline the last few years as it was the previous, say, 20, even when Bruce Pearl was here.
I think you hit on one of the talent level of Vanderbilt hasn't been there. But then, too, one thing that they did adjust is the coaches used to only be able to stay on the baseline. Now you can come up just as though you're the coach's box, up the sideline, so you can relay a message to your team at the other end of the court from a closer range than what you could 15 years ago.
And you feel that makes a big impact.
Yeah, because you're trying to get a play call, you're trying to get some adjustment. Hey, there's 10 seconds left on the shot clock. That half of a court is a big difference.
There you go. Very good. Mark Pancratz, thanks for being in here. I appreciate it. Your insights are always great. When we come back, Ryan Callahan and Bob Hodge join us as we dive into Tennessee football recruiting. Come on back on the Sports Source.